前一段时间 KNET 氢能源的项目出问题了，那要在当初的话，如果给您调的话，是不是你也很难确定这个项目会出问题？因为当初它是一个上市公司。
The first thing I'm going to do is look at this project itself and compare it to projects with publicly available information to see whether the representations and the projections are in line. I do that by looking at SEC filings, news releases, and other things, financial reports of a similar or a like project, and see if the numbers are in line or match. I mean, publicly traded companies get in trouble too, but they have a very strong incentive not to be untruthful when they report things to the SEC. And most of the things that are reported in prospectus material or 10Q or annual reports or quarterly reports are going to have a strong probability of truth to them. That being said, there are some instances where they're not true, but we'll put those aside. Those happen fewer and far between, especially since 2008, since the government has cleaned a lot of that up. But I can compare that hydrogen plant or that hydrogen project to disclosures in a loan document, probably that some brokerage firm has wrapped up. That senior loan has probably been chopped up and divided into a syndicated offering of some sort, where I've got all of the financials and all of the comparables that I can look at, and then use that to look at another deal that at the same time that had the same sort of business and the same sort of projections. What were the differences? Were they using the same sources? Were they using, the same industry professionals to ascertain what the levels of business are, what the production levels are going to be? For example, there was a big deal with hydrogen-powered automobiles, right? And now everyone knows in the United States, those deals have gotten, there's no market for hydrogen vehicles, essentially. Even in California, where they had hydrogen, there was a state mandate for hydrogen stations. There's virtually nowhere to fill up a hydrogen car anymore. So what do you do with all this hydrogen? What use does it have? And, what price do you get for the manufacturing of this stuff? I don't know. But I have to look at a report and see if I'm looking at BASF or DuPont or somebody like chemical company that can tell me what the profit margins are in that product and what the production issues are and the risks are. I can look at the risks in the PPMs and compare that to what a publicly traded company is reporting. Because they did have a publicly traded element to it, you have to dig further and look at other publicly traded companies and compare. We're just like here in the stock market in China, there are companies, you have real estate companies, some of them are just better than others because they do a better job of marketing, they have a better product, whatever. But they still have the same assumptions based on production, what industry standards are, who is using this project, what is the innovation that it's expecting down the road to provide value to people. I do a lot of that when I look at these deals when they fail. And it's surprising to see the gaps that become evident when you look at some things that are projected in business plans, especially EB5 business plans versus what a publicly traded company projects. And I haven't seen an EB5 project that uses a business plan that really comes up to snuff with the business descriptions that you'll find in an annual report of a publicly traded company. I mean, it's a different kind of analysis, but the level of depth to it just isn't as granular as it should be, especially with these industry projects. I think the biggest issue with these is hotel projects. Those are where you see the most gaps because you see a lot of people doing estimates of occupancy and average room rates and things like that. And some of them don't even match the franchise that they're selling. If I'm building a Hilton hotel and I'm saying I'm going to be I'm going to have an average room rate of X, ends up being 100% more than the average of Hilton, I'm going to be a little wary about it. And then you start looking, it's like, well, that's not right. What justification did they offer in this document to say that this Hilton is going to generate 100% more revenue per room than the average Hilton in the United States? I do a lot of the analysis, at least on the cases where we've got project failures, where we're not dealing with the misuse of funds. A lot of it has to deal with disclosure, and a lot of it has to deal with the business plans actually matching what the industry is doing and what the players are doing. I just find it remarkable that projects that are using franchises don't use franchise data for their business model. That I think that's a red flag that people ought to look at when they're reviewing EB5.